For nearly 700 years, Japan was not ruled by its emperor, but by a caste of warriors who followed a code of honor stronger than life itself. They were the samurai. This is the story of the world they built, the code they lived by, and how their age finally came to an end. For 7 centuries, real power in Japan belonged to its warriors, a class of elite fighters bound by a code of absolute honor, the samurai. To understand this world, you must forget the idea of a single king. Japan did have an emperor, revered as a living descendant of the gods. But for centuries, he was little more than a powerless figurehead. The true ruler of Japan was a military dictator known as the shogun. Beneath the shogun stood powerful lords called daimyo, each ruling his own domain. And beneath them served the warriors who made their power possible. Land, loyalty, and the sword. These were the foundations of feudal Japan. The samurai were far more than simple soldiers. They were a hereditary noble caste, trained in war from early childhood. Their most treasured possession was the katana, said to hold the warrior's very soul. They mastered the bow, the spear, and the horse, as well as the blade. In their fearsome armor, a samurai was a walking fortress. But what truly set them apart was not their weapons. It was their code. That code was called bushido, the way of the warrior. Bushido demanded absolute loyalty, courage, and self-discipline. A samurai was to feel no fear of death and to value honor above his own life. To fail as lord, or to be shamed, was a fate far worse than dying. A disgraced samurai could restore his honor in only one way: through seppuku, a painful ritual suicide performed with unflinching calm. Loyalty, courage, discipline, and honor ruled every part of a samurai's life. It was a philosophy of war and of death, unlike anything in the West. For 100 years, this warrior culture consumed itself in civil war. In an era of chaos, Japan shattered into dozens of warring domains. Rival warlords fought endlessly for control of the land. It was a brutal age that produced some of history's greatest generals. Battles raged across the land, and a samurai lived and died by his blade. One by one, 3 brilliant warlords dragged Japan back toward unity. The last of them, Tokugawa Ieyasu, finally won total control of the country. In 1603, he declared himself shogun, and the wars came to an end. What followed was one of the most remarkable eras in all of history. The Tokugawa shoguns gave Japan more than 200 years of unbroken peace. They sealed the country off almost completely from the outside world. And with no more wars to fight, the samurai transformed. Behind its sealed borders, Japan became a world entirely of its own. The fearsome warriors became scholars, poets, and government officials. A rich culture blossomed: haiku poetry, the tea ceremony, and vivid woodblock art. The way of the sword slowly gave way to the way of the brush. For over 2 centuries, Japan turned inward and created a world of exquisite beauty. But this peaceful, hidden kingdom could not last forever. In the 1850s, the modern world came knocking. A fleet of foreign steam-powered warships forced Japan to open its ports. Against these iron giants, the samurai's swords were suddenly powerless. Japan realized, almost overnight, that it had to change or die. In 1868, a great revolution restored the emperor to real power. The office of the shogun was abolished, and the samurai class was dissolved. After 700 years, the age of the warrior was finally over. And yet, the samurai never truly disappeared. Their code of honor, discipline, and loyalty was woven into modern Japan itself. You can still feel its spirit in Japanese art, business, and martial arts today. The samurai gave the world an enduring ideal of the warrior: disciplined, loyal, and utterly unafraid of death. For 700 years, the samurai ruled Japan by the sword and the code. Their era ended, but the ideal they created still echoes around the world. The way of the warrior may be gone, but it will never be forgotten.